tragedy in human history. وارحم تلك الصيحة التي كانت لنا. Show mercy on the scream that was for us and the tears that dripped for us, Ahlul-bayt. Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! Ya Hussein! When Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam finished burying his 6-month-old baby in the land of Karbala, he turned to his left and then he turned to his right, and he saw he had no more companions. The youngest shaheed has now given his life. Aba Abdullah alayhi salam began to call out, Ya Habib ibn Mudahir, wa ya Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, Ya Muslim ibn Awsaja. How come I call you and you do not reply? But how could you reply when your limbs are scattered across the field? Aba Abdullah alayhi salam saw that this was now his turn. Imam al-Hussein went to the tents and he began to make the following speech. Ya Zainab, Ya Kulthum, Ya Sukayna, Ya Ruqayya. O women of the progeny of the Prophet, prepare for trial and difficulty, for after this you will face much trouble, but be conscious and steadfast in the way of Allah, for surely Allah will protect you and Allah will guard you. Aba Abdullah turned around, he called for his horse Dhul Janah. Before he mounted it, he heard a little girl calling Aba Hussein. Imam al-Hussein turned around, he saw it was Sakina alayha salam. He embraced her one last final time. He turned to his baby girl Ruqayya, he embraced her. Then he looked towards his horse. He walked up Dhul Janah. Before he was able to mount, he heard one more voice saying, Sabran, Sabra, Mahlan, Mahla, Ya ibn al-Zahra, patience, slow down, O son of Fatima. Imam Hussein turned around. It was Zaynab alayha salam. He looked at her and she came and said to him, show me your neck and show me your chest. I have an amana I need to fulfill. She then embraced his neck and kissed his chest. She looked towards the land of Medina and said, Mother, I have fulfilled your amana. To which Imam al-Hussein inquired. She said, Ya Abu Abdullah, when I was little, my mother, our mother Fatima, she said, when you will see yourself and Hussein all alone, before he leaves to leave this world, kiss him on my behalf. Kiss the chest because it will be trampled by the horses of Bani Umayyah, and kiss the neck for it will be severed by that sword. Imam al-Hussein embraced his sister. He gave her words of strength. He then mounted his horse and he went to the field. He approached them and they all said, Wallah, by Allah, we have never seen a more illuminating face, nor a face that resembled the moon, nor a face that resembles the Murtada, nor a face that resembles al-Mustafa. Unlike the face that comes forth, Abu Abdullah alayhi salam approached. When he approached, he then called for Umar ibn Sa'd. He said, Ya Umar, I need to make these requests. Try and fulfill them. He said, as for my first request, then I ask you, I beg of you, do not attack my women. Then he said, as for my second request, fight me one-on-one if you are true men. As for my third request, a drop of water. They replied, Ya Hussein, we do not care for your women. And Ya Hussein, we will fight you one-on-one. And Ya Hussein, we will not let you taste even a drop. If we had the entire ocean, and you will taste the drop of the hell of fire. Aba Abdullah looked at them. He then enragingly looked forth and charged at their way. When he came forth, he called out the following introduction: أنا الحسين بن علي عليت ألا أنثني أحمي عيالات أبي. This is the words of your Imam. أمضي على دين النبي. I am Hussein, son of Ali. I will not whimper or cower. I will protect the family of my father, and I will stay steadfast on the deen of my grandfather. Abu Abdullah began to fight. In Ithbat al-Wasiyya of al-Mas'udi, the non-Shi'i scholar, he said that Hussein single-handedly fought and killed 1,000 of them until the numbers reached 1,800. Sayyidu Shuhada is fighting them, and then they begin to cry and say, Wayhakum, this is the exterminator of the Arab. Do not face him one-on-one as he requested. Send all your forces. Imam Hussein fought through all of them. He actually managed to reach the river Furat. He got to the river, passing by his brother Abbas. When he got to the river Furat, he came off his horse. He then approached the water. He is dying of thirst. He looks into the water, lifting it with his arms. He saw that his horse also was thirsty but refused to drink. Subhanallah. He then looks at the horse. The Maqtal say, Sayyid al-Shuhada said to the horse the following words: Anta عطشان وأنا عطشان فلا أشرب حتى تشرب. You are thirsty and I am thirsty, so I will not drink until you drink. And the horse lifted its head as if it understood the words of the Imam. None of them drank. Then Abu Abdullah mounted his horse and he went back to the field fighting them, but this time without any water. And this time they didn't send one-on-one, rather they sended leagues and waves of the enemies of Allah. They then decided to rain arrows at the Imam. Imam al-Hussein fought them valiantly. Wherever he would turn, he would slash through them and stab through them and attack them, until Umar ibn Sa'ad said, send every last one of these men, all 30,000 of you, go at him and get rid of him, for if we face him on one-on-one combat, he will always win. This is the son of Haydar al-Karrar. This is the son of al-Mustafa. They began to face Imam al-Hussein from all directions, like the cowards they were. Then the arrows began to rain down on Imam al-Hussein. A few arrows hit the horse of Sayyidu Shuhada. One of the enemies says, Sinan ibn Anas la'natullah alayh says, I saw the horse of Hussein. If ever there was someone attacking the Imam, he would guard the Imam with his blessed head. He would make sure he would be hit and not the rider of the horse. Soon one of these arrows punctured the chest of Imam al-Hussein. Umar ibn Sa'ad then said, go and grab the rocks, find them and throw them at him. One man came to Imam al-Hussein. He threw a rock and hit his blessed forehead, cutting the head of Imam, making the gush bleed across his blessed face. Sayyid al-Shuhada from that moment saw that the arrows were coming. One of them hit his blessed forehead again. Imam al-Hussein removed it and removed the one from his chest. He then collected the blood. He threw it up to the samawat. He then collected it again, but this time smearing his blessed face. He held on to his beard and he said, how I wish to meet Allah and I want to meet Rasulullah like this, and I will complain to them that him and Fulan did this this to me. Sayyidu Shuhada fell off of his horse. They began to lash at the feet of the Imam. He fell off the horse of the wonderful animal that was a gift from Rasulullah to Amir al-Mu'mineen. The horse began roaming around Imam al-Hussein. Whenever someone would approach, it would protect the Imam until the horse became weak and frail. It approached Imam al-Hussein and began to smear his forehead against the blood of the Imam. The horse went back to the tents, but this time without the rider. And the women saw the horse, and they saw he was bleeding and cut and bruised, as if he was crying and mourning for Imam al-Hussein. Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam says the horse, when it was wailing and crying, it would say, الظليمة الظليمة على أمة قتلت ابن بنت نبيها. It would say in its language, how a tragedy, the ummah kills the son of their prophet. Even the animals know your rights, ya Sayyidu Shuhada. And this time the Imam was laying on the ground. The hadith say he had so many arrows on his body that they said he reminded them of the hedgehog. How many arrows were on your body, ya Sayyidu Shuhada? And they couldn't tell the Imam, was he gone or there? Shamar ibn Dhul Jawshan said, let us then say we will attack his women. This will tell us if he is out or in. They said, now women of Hussein, prepare yourselves. Imam al-Hussein instantly, with the little strength he had, stood up. They said, he is still alive. Let us come and finish him off. No one would come and kill the Imam. A few would go to Imam al-Hussein and come back. They said to them, why do you hesitate? They said, wallah, I've never seen a face more lighting and illuminating than his. لَقَدْ شَغَلَنِي نُورُ وَجْهِ عَنَ الْفِكْرِ فِي قَتْلِ. I am distracted by the light of his beauty than the thought of killing him. A Christian man came to kill the Imam. The Imam said to him, oh man, from the men of Umar ibn Sa'ad, do you know about Jesus, son of Mary? He said, yes. Do you know about Muhammad, the father of Fatima? He said, yes, I am the son of that Fatima. He then began to cry and said, what am I able to do to you? He returned back to Umar ibn Sa'ad. Shamar ibn Dhul Jawshan got mad. He said, no one, when we send them, they do not finish the deal. At that moment, a young 10-year-old boy by the name of Abdullah, the son of Hassan, he rushes to the field. His auntie Zainab tries to stop him. He doesn't allow that. He runs with all his strength. He goes to his uncle Imam al-Hussein. Imam sees him. He begins to cradle him. He begins to hold him. This is his memory of his brother al-Hassan. Then he stands between the Imam and one of the killers who came to finish him. He said to him, Ya Khabith, ataqtul ammi. Oh wicked one, you want to kill my uncle. The man immediately pulled his sword out and killed the 10-year-old son of Hassan. He fell into the hands of Abi Abdullah. What a musibah, what a tragedy. He holds the hands of his nephew. In these final moments, he sees more and more. He holds on to him and he says, Sabran ala qada'uk, ya la ilaha illallah, wa ala millati rasulillah, sabran ala qada'uk, ya ghiyath al-mustaghithin, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Imam al-Hussein is making these du'as. He is making these prayers. They say, how can we kill someone who was remembering Allah so much? Then they surrounded the Imam. They would come closer, but they would be too afraid to do anything to Abu Abdullah, until one of them said, how about we just throw more rocks? How about we come closer to him with our spears? None of them would fulfill the task, until Umar ibn Sa'ad looks at Shamar ibn Dhul Jawshan. Shamar looks back at him, brothers and sisters. He then says, I will come down and finish him. He then then says, Inzulu ilayhi wa arihu. Go to him and make him see his comfort. At that moment, Sayyida Zainab comes to the field. She looks at Umar ibn Sa'ad and she says to him, Ya Umar, ayuqtal Abu Abdillah wa anta tanziru ilayh. Oh Umar, are you going to kill him while you look at his eyes? Wayhakum, ama fikum Muslim. Woe to you, is there no Muslim among you? Umar ibn Sa'ad began to cry. He then turned to his side, could not bear to hear the words of Zainab. He knew he was making the biggest of all calamities. In that moment, O mu'mineen, he then says, someone go and finish him off. At that moment, brothers and sisters, do not be afraid to cry. They would say, this is the day that broke the heart and shook the arsh of Allah. At that moment, Shumar ibn Dhul Jawshan ran to the Imam. He surrounded the Imam with his men. None of them could finish the Imam. He looked at Imam al-Hussein, and the Imam on the floor, bloodied and battered, looks back at him. He then runs to Imam al-Hussein and he kicks the Imam on his side. He then curses Imam Ali in front of him. He then curses Sayyida Zahra in front of him. He then kicks the Imam on his leg. He then kicks him some more. He then pulls out his sword. He then sits on the chest of Imam al-Hussein. He looks at the Imam. He grabs the beard of the Imam. He raises his sword, and with 12 strikes he severs the head of Imam al-Hussein. His head is raised on the spear. Wain al-Munadi, Ya Hussein! 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 Ya Hussein!
आशूर का सूरज है, कयामत की घड़ी है। भाई का गला कटता बहन देख रही है। मक़तल में किसी माँ की सदा गूंज रही है।